everybody, it's EK from EK Gorman Designs, and I am coming in with a really fun blog hop, joining in today with Jess and Laura's Hooray for 3000K video hop. There are all kinds of different sponsors with different prizes, and today's whole project is to celebrate both Laura and Jess's recently acquired 3,000 subscribers. So hop along to all the different stops along and comment. The more videos you watch and more places you comment, the more possibility you have of winning prizes. And there's a whole slew of summer-filled themed crafting projects for you to enjoy. I decided to play with a stencil and some chalk. I've been using these new blending brushes. I had this really big one. I didn't know how to play with it, so I figured, what would happen if I took my pan pastel chalk and used the big blending brush through stencils? How would it turn out? So I pulled out a slew of them and decided to go with a rainbow-themed stenciling with these Fun Delusion stencil bubble. This Fun Delusion bubble stencil. Those are the words I'm looking for. And I used my brush to push the chalk through. Now, I should have cleaned the brush a little better than I was doing. As you can see, when I get down here to the green, I've muddied it up a little bit. I was able to kind of, sort of, get where I wanted to, but I definitely was significantly muddier than I am. And if you've ever watched me before, I don't actually go back and redo things just because I make a mistake. I try to figure out how to solve the mistake as opposed to quitting the project. I'm loving how the chalk pushes through a stencil. It looks really three-dimensional, and it's actually flat and smooth. Now, I did off camera spray down that piece of chalk with some fixative spray to help lock the chalk into place, so I can now almost run my finger across it without smearing. For my stamped image, I pulled out a honeybee designed stamp. It's a little fun mermaid, and decided to also color her rainbow. So I started with her skin tone and used my favorite combination of skin tone markers and colored him with my Copic markers. I like the juxtaposition of the pan pastel background and the Copic marker foreground. And I don't know, I think she's a sweet little, like, thank you for tuning in kind of image. For her hair, I knew her tail and her outfit was going to be really bold and bright, so I wanted to keep her hair fairly neutral, and figured because of all the lines within the stamped image of her hair, the best thing I could do was actually go with this kind of darker brown color as opposed to more neutral light color. But I really like how neutral her hair turned out, and it doesn't, I don't think, take away in any way, shape, or form for the bold colors I'm about to use in her tail. By the way, while you're watching me color a little bit, the deadline for commenting to be in the pool of winning is July 10th. All winners will be announced on Laura and Jess's channels on July 15th. And to hop along, all the different names of the hop are in the doobly little blobby blue below. So, yeah, it's more information's in a little blurb, so if I don't make sense when I speak, I'm told I speak really fast. If there isn't enough information in my words here, there will definitely be a full description down in the blob, and your next hopping spot will also be down in the box below. For the rainbow tail, I actually pulled out just one color for each of the, and I went with a red, an orange yellow, a yellow, green yellow, or a yellow green, green, a tealy color, a blue, blue purple, and a pink. So I wanted the whole spectrum to go. So I'm dropping them into the tail and not actually worrying about the blending right now, more worrying about making sure I get all the colors into the tail as opposed to how smooth the blend is. The blend will come second. I've never actually colored a rainbow like this, not with my Copics at least. I obviously just colored a rainbow with pan pastels just, a couple minutes ago. But with my Copics, I've never actually tried to blend an entire rainbow without multiple colors in the same value family coloring through. I didn't know if it was going to work, and I could not be more pleased with how smooth the blend ends up going. It's important, I think, to use the lighter color and really emphasize the blend between the lighter color and the darker color. as opposed to trying to use the darker color to blend in. So you'll see, like, I don't really grab the green so much to blend into the teal. I instead use the teal to blend into the green, and then I use the yellow-green to blend into the green. And I don't use the red-orange, yellow-red, yellow-orange to blend in. I use the yellow to blend in to the yellow-orange and the yellow-green. Yeah, the colors are confusing me. Everybody bear with me. For her shirt, I figured her shirt's right next to the red and orange tones, so I would make her shirt kind of a paley red color as opposed to trying to rainbow it up. I was afraid if I tried to rainbow her shirt up, it would get too much. So instead, I just pulled out a little combination of reds that I'm comfortable with using to make kind of a pale pink, neutralish. I don't know how red could ever be a neutral, but that was the effect I was going for here. I also decided she needed a little bit of color in her hair. So using markers I've already used in the tail, I dropped some teal and blue into the ribbons and tried to create just a real simple blend, nothing fancy. It's just too thin to make fancy. And a little green into the fauna tied into her hair. I also thought she needed a bit more color in her cheeks, so I dropped some of that R20 as blush into her cheeks and then blended it back out with my E51 marker, just so there's a hint of pink in her hair, in her cheeks. And then I fussy cut her out. Now, remember my pan pastel background had been sprayed with a fixative. So now I'm just adhering it to an A2 card frame, and I'm still like really hesitant to touch the chalk because I don't want to muck it all up, let's be honest. I did go ahead and use score tape on the mermaid to adhere her to the pan pastel. I've never actually tried to adhere something to pan pastel, and I know there's a fixative on it, but I still wasn't certain how it was going to adhere. Guess what? Score tape adheres nicely to pan pastel. Who knew? I wanted a sentiment, but I didn't want to stamp, again, on that pan pastel, not knowing how I could stamp. So I pulled out this die from Honeybee Designs, or it's a die and stamp combination, and it is supposed to die cut the word out perfectly. Problem is, you can't see the word. So here's me hoping for the best, and I got really close. I mean, look, I got really, really close. When I say I'm not the world's best stamper, I'm also not the world's best die cutter. Not in my wheelhouse of skills that I've mastered. So for me to get this close and die cutting out the word, it's like a little happy dance here in my studio. Little bit of happy dance. The card needed just a bit of sparkle. So there's these really great star emblems in this pack of Doodles Paper Playground Sparkle Blend Sequins. So I just pulled them out. It's a whole mix of really cool sequins, but I wanted just 5 of these. So I selfishly pulled out just the 5. And I adhered them with my Ranger's Glossy Accents. Also, glues nicely to pan pastel. See, a lot of this was an experiment. I use pan pastels in a lot of things. Card making is not often one of them. And I've never used my pan pastels before with a blending brush, and I could not be more pleased with how it turned out today. Thanks for peeking in today at this Hooray for 3000 celebration blog hop. Make sure you continue on to all the different stops along the way, and comment along the way for your chance to win one of the many cool prizes in this collection of blog hop prizes. Until then, happy crafting.